Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. We got some breaking news here that we're going to discuss on today's live show. If you guys haven't seen the news just yet, the Vikings have waived wide receiver Adam Thielen per his request. Apparently, he wasn't happy with too much with how much playing time and the role he had with this Vikings team, so he went to Kevin O'Connell, asked for an increased role. They couldn't give that to him, and Thielen, in his final year of his playing career in the NFL, he wants to go play for a contender, and it is just more kind of evidence of how much of a disaster this has been for the Vikings. The fact that you have a guy like Adam Thielen, who grew up a Minnesota Vikings fan favorite, and the fact that he requested a release, after Week 13 is pretty telling to how bad this season has gone. But I do want to ask you guys this here first: who is more to blame? Now, I think majority of people will say Kwesi adofo-mensah, and for right reason. Kwesi has been one of the worst GMs in the NFL since he has taken over as the Vikings GM. However, we have seen, and shout out to actually Twisted Wizard in the live chat right now, we have seen players that Kwesi has drafted and the Vikings have let go this offseason play some great football other places. Like, you got a guy like Ed Ingram, where us Vikings fans, we wanted to run Ed Ingram out of town. We said there's no way he could be a starting caliber offensive lineman. I mean, we replaced him last year with Dalton Reisner, and now Ed Ingram, he's balling with the Houston Texans. Okay, it's not just that. Mekhi Blackman, you trade him this offseason for a 6th-round pick. Well, Mekhi Blackman's playing great ball with the Indianapolis Colts. How about Garrett Bradbury with the New England Patriots? He's playing great football over there. So I think it's a combination between the two, obviously, because I also think Kevin O'Connell, obviously think Kwesi adofo-mensah has been a bad GM, like still throughout. His drafts have been terrible. His free agent signings this past year have been terrible. But also is that on him or is that on the coaching staff for not developing these guys? Like, for example, I don't think Chris Cupper, the Vikings offensive line coach, there is no chance he should be brought back this next season. I mean, there's just no way they allow that to happen. So, you guys, let me know your thoughts. Who is more to blame, Kevin O'Connell or Kwesi adofo-mensah? And also, I still was just in total shock of what has truly transpired over the last 10 months for this organization. You really think about it, we were Week 18 last year, waking up 10 months ago, and we were 60 minutes of football away from the number 1 seed in the NFC. And now with where we are right now, we're talking about Kevin O'Connell. I think he should be fired. If you would have told me that heading into that game, I would have said, what happened? I would have had so many questions. But the fact that we're just at this point right now, we're talking about Kevin O'Connell being on the hot seat. We're talking about Kwesi saying he should be fired. It is truly, truly astonishing how quickly this fall has been for the Minnesota Vikings. We do have a super chat rolling in here. Vaporous Plenty. Also appreciate you guys for tuning in. Got over 200 people in the building. So that's awesome stuff. But Vaporous Plenty saying, at this point, I need Caleb Downs to be the first pick. That would be awesome. Obviously, the Vikings have a need at the safety position. Caleb Downs is an all-pro caliber player. He's fantastic. He's the best defensive player in the country. If you guys don't know about him, just turn on the Big Ten title game this Saturday. Watch number 2 on that Ohio State defense. He is an absolute stud. So I'd be all in on that 100%. But also the thing is with Kevin O'Connell, and we can kind of get back to this, is what is also so disappointing is I feel like how he came in here, he was like a true culture setter. He had these guys ready to play and all that, and really felt like the guys played for him. They're excited to go out there every single game. But now we're at the point with KOC, it feels like he lost the locker room and specifically his side of the football, because what is so concerning about the quarterback play here is obviously how bad it is, but we have seen other quarterbacks in the NFL who aren't that good look better than what J.J. McCarthy and Max Brosmer have looked like. They don't just look bad. They look historically bad. And, fun fact, the Vikings, first team ever that have 2 quarterbacks make their debuts in the same season, and they both throw pick sixes during their first game. That's just speaking to just how much of a disaster this has been. But I think the biggest concern here with Kevin O'Connell is, number one, I thought he was going to adjust his offense this offseason. I was fully bought in to Kevin O'Connell. He's going to change his ways. He's going to be more of a run-first offense. He's going to get downhill. He's going to kind of cater the J.J. McCarthy strengths a little more. Has he done that? Absolutely not. He's almost been too stubborn in his ways. So the question becomes, if you want to fire Kevin O'Connell, then I think you almost keep rolling with J.J. McCarthy. because then you get a coach in here who's going to develop the quarterback. But if you keep Kevin O'Connell, how can you possibly roll out J.J. McCarthy next season? And that's where I think the Vikings are going to land themselves in a tricky spot where I think they're going to trade for Mac Jones this offseason and get some veteran quarterback in there. Maybe if it's a guy like Trevor Lawrence, and Kevin O'Connell will still be able to win, let's just say 9, 10, 11 games with those guys, but it's still going to be the same situation at the end of the year where you're going to lose a playoff game because you will not be able to win in this league with this guy as your head coach with his inability to run the football. He's not a physical head coach. He's not a physical guy. He doesn't give that personality off. And, teams take the likes of their head coach, and the Vikings play like a soft football team. I think you got a soft head coach. Like, he's too good looking. His jawline's too sharp. Like, we need some guy with some rough and rugged tendencies. And it's just not what KOC is. And again, also, I don't think we've seen a coach's stock fall as much as Kevin O'Connell's stock has fallen. I mean, the poll I put out there, 220 votes. Should the Vikings fire Kevin O'Connell? I thought it was going to be 80% no on this. It's 66% yes. Now, I think they should. And, Keanu Wood saying Mac Jones would be nice, not going to lie. Yeah, he'd be nice to win you 10 games. But you're just going to be – KOC is a bad head coach because his jawline is too sharp. He's too pretty. He's too finesse. Like, I want some rough and rugged tendencies out of my head coach. Obviously joking when I say that. But, if you go out there and you get a Mac Jones, like, yeah, you're going to win more games. You're going to be more productive than what you've been. But, you're never going to sniff a Super Bowl. And I think with the Vikings front office and the coaching staff, with their jobs on the line, I find it hard to believe that they're going to roll out J.J. McCarthy out there for another year, and you're just going to kind of punt on a top 10 pick, which is incredibly, incredibly concerning. But Vaporous Plenty also saying, do we need a new OC? I swear we don't even use him. Talking about Wes Phillips. I mean, maybe I just don't think a new OC is, really changing too much. But clearly, like, the combination of Kevin O'Connell, Wes Phillips, and Josh McCown, that three-headed monster who we thought could be this trio that develops a young quarterback like J.J. McCarthy, they have been flat out terrible at that. And what is also so frustrating with KOC is the excuses that he has kind of made for the quarterback throughout the season, just over and over again. He said it's the mechanics. Okay, then the next week it was the processing side of the game. And then next week it was something else. Then it was J.J. McCarthy mentally. Like, is he okay? How's he just, spiritually doing? It's something new every week. What is your job, Kevin O'Connell? It's to get your quarterback prepared. Like, Jim Harbaugh won a national championship with him. This kid lost 4 games of football since his freshman year of high school. Now, obviously, when he was at Michigan, when he was at IMG, when he was back at Nazareth Academy, like, his teams had a huge talent advantage every single week. But that was kind of the idea with the Vikings this year, was we go all in and we have a quarterback who has the clutch gene, who can make the big-time plays in big-time spots. KOC doesn't have this guy ready to go. I think J.J. McCarthy and how bad he has looked, and Max Brosmer, how bad he has looked yesterday, yes, it is an indictment on those two. Maybe they aren't the prospects that we thought they were, but I think that goes back on the head coach. I just think it 100% has to. Because, like, yes, they have been bad, but they should not be this bad, and I think the league's figured them out. And this is also what is just so concerning. Shout out to Alco's for tweeting this out. The Vikings are converting 36.1% of their third and shorts this season, which is 3rd and 3 or fewer. That's the 3rd lowest of any team since 2000. Only the 2015 Titans and the 2001 Eagles have been worse. The league average over this 25-year span is around 60%. So, again, I ask you guys, what advantage does Kevin O'Connell give this team? Like, yes, I think KOC is a pass game coordinator. Top of the league. Great stuff. But when you kind of force his hand a little bit, and he really does remind me of, I made this comparison on a show earlier today. He reminds me of like a great MLB pitcher that just got one pitch. Like where it's just, he's just got a 104-mile-an-hour fastball. But once you sit on that fastball and he's got no slider, he's got no changeup, no curveball to go to, like it can get ugly. And that's what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. As Vapor's always coming in saying, I think, in my opinion, it wasn't Max's fault. He was set up to fail. Max Brosmer wasn't ready to play yesterday. Guys, and the Brock Purdy bullshit that was coming out before the game about also how this team, apparently these guys in the front office were so excited for Brosmer. they thought he was going to be the next Brock Purdy. Like, they found a hidden gem in the draft. Like, apparently people in the Vikings organization were scared of Brosmer going to the combine because they didn't want other teams to get their eyes on him. I don't know what that was about. It almost felt like guys in the front office wanted to take credit if Brosmer did play well because they felt like their jobs were on the line potentially. But was also the most concerning part of all this, and this starts, at the tippy top of the Vikings organization. Nobody was fired today. Nobody was fired. You won 14 games a season ago. You have one of the worst off seasons in NFL history. You let a 35 touchdown, 14-win quarterback walk out your door. You go to his building, and you get blasted. You get embarrassed. Somebody should have been fired today. Even if it was just Matt Daniels, the special teams coordinator, or it could be Kwesi. Like, somebody should be held accountable for these moves because I don't also think some Vikings fans, and this really set in for me today, we are in one of the worst spots in the NFL right now where it is so bad that there's no hope here. Like, yes, you can go get a Mac Jones. You can win 10 games with him. You're not winning playoff games. You're not winning Super Bowls with Mac Jones. Yeah, you could go maybe try to get Trevor Lawrence, but are you going to take on that contract? The Vikings can't. Are you going to go get Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray and Kevin O'Connell might be the worst quarterback scheme play caller fit in NFL history. So what do I think the Vikings need to do this offseason? You just need to ride out with McCarthy for next year. That just is what it is. If McCarthy stinks, you get a top 5 pick in a loaded draft class. If he's good, you got a franchise quarterback. But the Vikings, make this comparison. They have a massive gash on their arm right now. It should take 20 stitches to fill this up. And they're just going to put a Band-Aid over it. And their Band-Aid's probably going to be Mac Jones. And also with the Vikings trying to negotiate a deal with Mac Jones, what do you think the Niners are going to say? Why would we give him up? The most powerful thing or most powerful word you can say in negotiations is just flat out no. The Niners can just say no over and over and over again. They got him on the books for 2 years, $7 million. Brock Purdy's injury prone. They're going to want to keep him. So, are you going to give up a second and a potential 4th-round pick for Mac Jones? Is that going to solve all your problems? And you're going to win 10 games next year and you're going to be back in purgatory. That's why it gets back to the point. Somebody needs to be held accountable for this because, and I'm a younger Vikings fan. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong. Please chime in down below. I'm 26 years old. I've been watching this team, probably really, really watching it since I've been about 9, 10 years old, back in 2009, the Brett Favre year. I don't remember a stretch of football that has been this bad, considering where we were 10 months ago. Yes, there have been worse teams potentially over those years, but considering 10 months ago, we were 60 minutes away from being the number 1 seed. We were 60 minutes away from having 2 home playoff games to go to the Super Bowl to where it is now. It's just concerning, incredibly concerning. And it's not like there is a light at the end of this tunnel that we can see yet. Now, obviously, the NFL, it can change every single year. Teams who you think are going to be good are going to be bad. Teams you think are going to be bad are going to be good. Just natural turnover in the NFL happens. But, man, when was the last time, as a fan base, that this team has been, or that this fan base has been this down bad? It's been a minute. Vapor is saying, if he sinks, say goodbye to JJ because request a trade. Are you talking about McCarthy if you ride it back with him? Listen, guys, I tweeted this out, and I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter, if you guys have seen this, but I said, and this was just a late-night thought I had, there is a chance that I think Jefferson goes to the Kansas City Chiefs this offseason. It's the next Brady-Moss combo. If the Chiefs miss the playoffs, I think they're going to be super desperate to make a baller, all-in move. Now, obviously, they don't need wide receiver talent, but the Eagles technically didn't need Saquon Barkley when they picked him up. They still had one of the best run games in the league, but you're going to turn down getting Justin Jefferson and Patrick Mahomes on the same team, just be an unstoppable force offensively. And then also that could be something where it's hey, the Vikings did Jefferson right. They sent him to the Chiefs. It's not like they sent him to the Saints for 2 first-round picks. At least they sent him to Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. I just can't play. I just can't believe it. Discussions underway, 5 p.m. announcement. I hope you're right, man. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. But coming up on today's show, I do want to talk about Kwesi because talked about the news at the top. Adam Thielen was waived by the Vikings today, and this is another Kwesi masterclass is why he's truly the worst GM in the National Football League. Then I do want to dive into a mailbag, so I want to take all of your guys' questions. We'll chop it up for about 12 to 15 minutes. Just use hashtag Vikings down below. Get those questions in there. I would greatly appreciate it. Just hashtag Vikings. Mailbag coming up here in about 20 minutes. He's going to talk about Kwesi and talk about truly how bad he has been as the Vikings GM and why he's just completely he is. If you're a kid at home, put earmuffs on. Kwesi has fucked this franchise. He has truly fucked over this franchise. And it's a combination of him. It's a combination of Kevin O'Connell. But the moves he has made this offseason is truly the worst offseason in Vikings franchise history. It's just bad. And it's also, like, for what you're saying, Patrick hit it right in the head with, we will not win anything, KOC and Kwesi. Like, you will win regular season games with those two. Like, I'm not saying, like, they're incompetent or, they don't have enough juice in the tank to, like, go win 9, 10, 14 regular season wins because we've seen it. But I also know, like, if you're not a physical football team, if you don't run the football, good luck winning games in December and January. Like, for example here, the Chicago Bears, they play in Green Bay this weekend. I want everybody to just imagine real quick, if let's just say it was the Vikings, and let's just say they're 8-4 this year, whatever, and we were heading to Green Bay, and it's supposed to be 15 degrees there. You know why the Bears are probably confident they can go in the Lambeau and get a win? Because they can run the football. They're a physical football team. If that was a Kevin O'Connell-led team heading the Lambeau in freezing temperatures, they're going to get blasted. They're going to get steamrolled. They're going to get outclassed. It's happened over and over again. Scoliosis saying, who was the last Hall of Fame wide receiver to win a Super Bowl? I don't know if Cooper Kupp's winning making the Hall of Fame. Cooper Kupp might make the Hall of Fame. He's kind of making the point of wide receivers don't win championships. I hear you. Obviously, it's a head coach, quarterback league for the longest time, but yeah, I don't really have the good answer to that. Just go back. I guess they didn't win the Super Bowl that year. They lost a cup. Larry Fitzgerald. He's probably there. That's a good question, though. If you're taking that argument, maybe that's more reason to trade Justin Jefferson. All right, but mailbag coming up here in 20 minutes. Let's dive into the first segment of how bad Kwesi's been as the Vikings GM. We'll talk about it, and it's just so frustrating how stubborn Kevin O'Connell is. Like, he just will not fix his ways. Like, it's just a terrible combination. It's like you got a young rookie quarterback, but you got a head coach who's too stubborn to change his ways, change his scheme, and he just wants to hang that quarterback out there to dry. And also just a preparation standpoint for this Vikings team, it has been absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Vaporous, we'll get to your super chat after this show, but I do want to talk about Kwesi adofo-mensah, and let's dive into it. Kwesi adofo-mensah did it again. Not in a good way. We're going to be talking about it on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up, we are going to look at how bad Kwesi has been as the Vikings GM. And I will stand on this take. He has been the worst GM in the National Football League since he has taken over this team in 2022. We'll discuss that. But the most recent move on failed Kwesi moves. Today, the Minnesota Vikings waived wide receiver Adam Thielen. Now, not too big of a deal. Adam Thielen put out a statement that he went to Kevin O'Connell. He said, I want a bigger role in this offense. The Vikings obviously could not deliver that to number 19. So Thielen, he wanted to go play for a contender. He wanted a bigger role. And he said this is the last season of his NFL career, so he wants to at least do something and be on the football field for his last season. But this trade in the offseason, and I will hold myself accountable here first. I was all in for Thielen coming back again. I think my emotions get the better of me. And also Thielen was productive in Carolina his 2 years there. But, guys, the Vikings gave up a 2026 fifth-round pick and a 2027 fourth-round pick. Now, you got a seventh and a fifth back, but still, you necessarily gave up a fourth-round pick for Adam Thielen. A fourth-round pick for Adam Thielen. And now he is cut, and it is December 1st. That is that bad. And it's just one of the many moves where Kwesi has completely messed it up. So I'll ask you guys this. I'm honestly shocked he hasn't been fired already. You guys let me know your thoughts. Should the Vikings fire Kwesi? If you think yes, go down there, hit that thumbs up icon for us. And if you guys disagree with me and you think maybe it's the coaching staff's more fault, comment why down below. If you're going to make that argument, probably going to be saying guys like Ed Ingram, Garrett Bradbury, Mekhi Blackman, guys who Kwesi, obviously not Bradbury, who he drafted, but Ingram and Blackman, they leave the Vikings. They're balling on other teams. So I think you could make an argument on that he shouldn't be fired, but I think he 100% should. So you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Now we're going to break this show up into 3 categories here. We're going to go back and first just look at the draft classes because they are just historically bad, and we all know this. And then I do want to focus in here on 2024 free agency and talk about some of the awful decisions Kwesi made. And then I do want to talk about the horrible extensions here. We're going to start off with the draft class because obviously when Kwesi took over back in 2022, they had that draft where they had the 12th overall selection, ended up moving down to pick number 32, and they drafted it just started off with one of the biggest busts of all time. Lewis Cine. So that's a bust. Andrew Booth Jr., that's a bust. Ed Ingram, he's playing good football with the Texans, but with the Minnesota Vikings, chalk him up to a bust. Brian Asamoah was cut earlier on this offseason. Caleb Evans, not on the team. Easy E in the round 5, not a good pick. Ty Chandler, I guess that's an okay round 5 pick. Verdarian Lowe, one of the worst linemen in the league. Jalen Naylor, probably the best pick out of this draft class, but that's it. Like, the best pick out of this draft class was Jalen Naylor in the 6th round. And then 2023, yes, give him credit for Jordan Addison, but I'm not giving him a ton of credit. Like, the receivers drafted around Addison, it was Jackson Smith, it was Zay Flowers. Like, you really couldn't mess that pick up. And then in round 3, you took Mekhi Blackman. We traded him for a 6th-round pick this year. And Mekhi Blackman's actually playing good football in Indianapolis. Jay Ward, it's tough for him to get on the field. Jacqueline Roy, I don't even think he played a snap for the Minnesota Vikings. And Jaron Hall, that was a waste of a 5th-round pick. The fact that you took Jaron Hall in round 5 is quite embarrassing. And DeWayne McBride, he didn't suit up a game for the Vikes. So this draft class, besides Jordan Addison, a complete bust. Well, how about in 2024? J.J. McCarthy, call it like it is right now, probably looks like a bust. Now, I will say Dallas Turner coming on over the last couple of weeks, that's looking like a good selection. You got Walter Rouse, you got Will Reichard, Michael Jervins, Levi Drake Rodriguez. Honestly, the draft class you're seeing right now might be Kwesi's best draft class because you at least got 2 guys who are playable, or 3 guys who are playable, and Turner, Reichard, and Levi Drake Rodriguez. But still, a lot of misses. And then this year, Donovan Jackson's a good pick, but you spent your 3rd-round pick on a gunner. Ty Felton doesn't play. He's a special teams guy, and you took him in the last pick of the 3rd round. Call that a waste of a draft pick. Tiernan Ingram-Dawkins, jury's still out on him. Kobe King. You guys know what team Kobe King is on right now? He's on the New York Jets. The Vikings cut him. Gavin Bartholomew hasn't suited up this year. And there is no doubt in my mind, he has been the worst drafting GM in the NFL since 2022. You can call it like it is. Yes, he has a couple splashes here and there, like Reichard late in the 6th round, Levi Drake Rodriguez in the 7th. There are some, good draft picks there, but it gets back to this. It is truly impossible to consistently win year over year in the NFL if you can't draft. Because the Vikings, you can go have a big free agency. You can go, buy some players on the market. You can trade for some guys. You can construct a decent enough roster to go and win games. But if you can't consistently draft well, just year over year, eventually you're going to have a year like the Vikings did this year where it's man, we're looking at the depth on this team, and it's there's a lot of holes. The secondary, how many misses did you guys see at the cornerback position and all those graphics we just showed you? A whole lot. So it's just impossible to consistently win year over year if you just can't draft in the NFL. And I'm not trying to get a joke out of this. I truly do believe this. His best draft pick was a kicker in the 6th round. If screw that. His best move as the GM was taking Will Reichard in the 6th round. If that's your biggest move, your best move you made, you're probably a terrible GM. And he is a terrible GM. And it's just sad. It's just sad where we are. So we'll talk about free agents. We talk about all that coming up. But if you guys are subscribed to the channel, if you guys could, hit me with a skull down below in the comment section. I want to give you guys a future shout out on a future show. Just hit me with those skulls down below in the comment section. And we'll show you guys some love here on a future show at Vikings Now. Now, before we dive into the rest of today's episode, I do want to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. It is the holiday season, and it's the best time of year for sports. You got bowl games, basketball and football matchups, playoff pushes. It is all happening at once. And when you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch. There's one place where it feels good to be right, and that's Prize Picks. If you guys download the Prize Picks app today, plug in promo code CONS. We'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, Prize Picks has a new feature out right now called Early Payouts. And if your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. In Prize Picks, it's super simple to play. All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 player stats. And if you guys get your picks right, you could cash in. So download the Prize Picks app today. Plug in that promo code CONS. We'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. But shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, let's talk about this past year's free agency class because it has been flat out horrible. All 5 of these are horrible contracts. These are the 5 biggest contracts, and literally all 5 of them are horrible deals. Jonathan Allen gave him $60 million over 3 seasons. Javon Hargrave, $30 million over 2 seasons. Ryan Kelly, 18 for 2. Will Fries might be the worst of the bunch, $88 million over 5 years. Isaiah Rodgers, if you take out that Bengals game, how he's been playing of late, he's a damn near unplayable corner. So your 5 biggest moves this offseason in terms of free agency all suck. And what is also, I think, almost saving Kwesi a little bit here is even, let's just say, J.J. McCarthy, he was playing like a top 12 quarterback, and he was fantastic. The roster has regressed around him. Like, we have seen even Justin Jefferson take a step back, Jordan Addison take a step back, T.J. Hawkinson's a shell of himself. But defensively, like, I think we would have been giving more attention to guys like Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, like even Will Fries on the offensive line, Ryan Kelly. Like, I think almost with how bad the quarterback play has been, people aren't really looking too much into, like, okay, let's actually go back and look at, like, the free agency signings the Vikings made this past year because all the attention's on the quarterback position. Yes, the quarterback position has been bad, but there are other major issues on this team. And what's also concerning about how Kwesi set up the books here, he backloaded these contracts. This is just for the year of 2026. Jonathan Allen, $21.6 million. Javon Hargrave, $21.49 million. TJ Hawkinson, $21.35. Byron Murphy, $20. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is on the books for $15 million next year. And you got Will Fries on the books for $17 million. I mean, think about this. Left side of the screen, you got $63 million on 3 guys who are damn near unplayable. And then you got Byron Murphy for 20 and Aaron Jones for 15 and then Will Fries for 18. Like, it's truly incredible how bad the Vikings are set up financially because of what Kwesi did. And I feel bad for the fans, but I mainly feel bad for number 18. Justin Jefferson, he is an all-time talent. And the fact that we are at the point where people are saying, like, oh, Jefferson might not even be a top 3 receiver in the league anymore, the Vikings should be embarrassed about that. That is on the organization. That's not on Jefferson at all. Now, yes, has he been like who he was back in 2022 or the season he even had last year? He went for 1,500 yards. No. He's definitely taking a slight step back. But Jefferson taking a slight step back is still the best wide receiver in the damn NFL. So I feel bad for the fans. I feel bad for Jefferson. But what also, the one move that really grinds my gears this offseason is this one. Is the Josh Oliver, 3 years, $23 million. When the Vikings gave him this contract, I specifically remember saying in the video, you know what? That is proof to me that Kevin O'Connell's changing his ways. Because you just gave $23 million to a run-blocking tight end. Well, why would you do that? Oh, maybe because you're going to get more, 2 tight end sets this year. You're going to get downhill. But now you got Josh Oliver with a big contract, plus TJ Hawkinson getting $20 million. But KOC can't change his ways. So it's kind of like twofold here. Kwesi, why did you give Josh Oliver that contract? But since you did give him that contract, Kevin O'Connell, let's use him. He is one of the best run-blocking tight ends. Let's go use that physicality and that toughness that he brings. So it's both of them. The marriage, it's not there. There is some disconnect between the front office, the coaching staff, and the roster. In the Vikings, there's no doubt. They have an 80% chance to get a top 10 pick this year. You cannot let Kwesi control another draft. Because it's not just a top 10 pick in round 1. The top 10 pick in round 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You can't let him control another offseason because the offseason he just had this past year, set this franchise back 5 years. Wherever we thought we were at the end of last season, we have set ourselves back 5 years. We aren't even close to winning a Super Bowl, and that's what's so concerning now. Because you got your head coaches on the hot seat. You got the worst quarterback situation in the world. You spent $350 million in cash on this roster next year, so you're screwed for the next year with a lot of bad contracts. It's because of this guy and because of the head coach. And with how bad the last 10 months have been, I think they should both go. I think it is a historically just bad 10 months for a franchise, not just Minnesota Vikings franchise, like all NFL franchises. It has been that bad. They should both go. You should promote Brian Flores. You should go get another OC, go get another GM, and whatever they want to do with the quarterback, they figure it out. Because I promise you, with those two calling the shots in this organization, you can win regular season games, have a lot of fun in October, November, September. But when December and January roll around and big boy football is going to need to be played, the Vikings can't compete. And it starts at the top. It starts with the GM. It goes down to the head coach. I think they should both be gone. You guys let me know. Who is more to blame, Kevin O'Connell or Kwesi adofo-mensah? Here's some of your thoughts down below in the comment section. If I'm giving an answer to this is tough for me. I'd go 60% Kwesi, and then I'd go 40% Kevin O'Connell. But you guys let me know your thoughts. More to blame. Drop those thoughts down below. We'll get on out of here. As always, let's go Vikes. Alrighty. What's going on, everybody? KOC fired, a crazy take. You're going to regret that when he's thriving with somebody else. Oh, you know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for the Vikings to go out there and get Mac Jones, and then KOC wins 10 games next year, and then he gets bounced in the first round of the playoffs. It's going to be the same old thing. Like, you have to roll it with McCarthy next season, and you just got to say, KOC, you got to figure it the hell out. That's the guy you wanted. If you can't get him to the right spot, then we're drafting top 5. You're fired. It's a whole new regime coming in. But it would almost just – Vikings bringing in Mac Jones would just prolong the inevitable. Like, what's eventually going to happen is these two are going to get canned. Bring in Mac Jones, all right, you go win 10 games. You might win 10 games the next year. You're not winning playoff games. You're not winning Super Bowls. And it's also, Cody saying KOC's play calling is trash. It is trash, but I think what's more concerning about O'Connell is the preparation heading into each week. Like, there's always something new with McCarthy. It's his mechanics. It's mentally, his lower body not connected to the upper body. Like, there's so much, going on there. Like, yes, the play calling sucks. The short yardage stuff drives me crazy, but it is more about just how this team looks, and, like, they just don't even look ready to play. Like, guys, getting shut out in the NFL is hard to do. How many shutouts are there normally per year? 5? Maybe if that many. And it's just concerning. Like, that was the first shutout since 2007. It's that bad right now. And it's not just the quarterback. And I'm also kind of happy. I will give credit, like, other Vikings media members, other fans, like, they're not happy with what's going on. And, like, I'm happy about that, because even though Eagles fans drive me up a wall, the one thing I respect about Eagles fans is that they hold their team to the highest of standards. They won a Super Bowl 10 months ago, and they're booing their team off the field, and they're 8-4. I love that shit. I mean, those are just passionate fans. And I love it. And then, like, I say, the Vikings should fire Kevin O'Connell after a 4-8 season. The guy's got no playoff wins. People are saying, dude, the grass isn't always greener, yada, yada, yada. Our grass is yellow right now. It sucks. But Vapor's coming back in saying, I hope JJ doesn't request a trade. He's been loyal every year, and I think no way any teams could get him because he's too expensive. JJ will stick. Teams can go get Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's only on $35 million a year. Sauce Gardner was on a contract for $30. Yeah, and they traded him pretty easily. The Colts gave up 2 first-round picks for Sauce. Jefferson will go for 2 first-round picks. So I really disagree with that. You can also move money around. You can make some agreements, like Vikings pay a majority of whatever. I don't think the contract is an issue whatsoever. Mike Nintendo Master, what's going on, Brody? Appreciate you for tuning in. Too Evil, Too Hope saying relocate the Vikings to the center of the sun. Yeah. I mean, guys, listen. I don't think I've been this down bad as a Vikings fan in a very long time. It is incredibly, incredibly concerning. And just disappointed with how the season's gone. I'm just still stunned. Like, just still really, really stunned. If you can't tell McCarthy is trash, you should pick a different sport to follow. Yeah, he's been trash. There's no doubt about it. But almost, I think Max Brosmer being as bad as he was. Now, obviously, he's a UDFA, but like, it doesn't matter if it's a top 10 pick or UDFA or it's Carson Wentz. Like, all quarterbacks have looked the same in this offense. I genuinely can't believe what I saw yesterday. I know, guys, they got shut out. It never happens. Imagine Trevor Lawrence in Minnesota. KOC would love that. Because you know what? Trevor Lawrence in Minnesota, it's the same shit with Mac Jones. You're going to win 10, 11 games, and then you're going to get bounced in the playoffs. Yo, Patrick, a huge fan of your Bulls channel. Appreciate you, Austin. Apparently, the Bulls are going to trade for Anthony Davis, and if they trade for Anthony Davis, I'm going to have the biggest crash out you've ever seen. Trade proposal. Our first rounder for Jets. Well, the Colts don't have any first-round picks. Oh, for Jets. Not really sure what you're saying there. It's a troll. Is the Vikings sign a quarterback or new quarterback this offseason? We'll talk about that. At least the Wolves beat the Spurs. Yeah, at least you guys got the Timberwolves to foul. Cole coming in with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, man. We'll get that up on screen here. Jets have the Colts pick. That's what I meant. We get the 2027 first from the Jets. I mean, Jets aren't trading for Justin Jefferson. What % of this team drafting problems are on lack of coaching development? That's a fantastic question, Twisted Wizard. We'll make sure to get to that. Oh, I know, Austin. I'm with you. Yeah, again, just still shocked of what has transpired with this franchise. It's the old cliche, like, never say to yourself, it can't get worse than this. Because once you say, oh, it can't get worse, oh, it gets worse immediately, too. And that's what happened. Like, I remember Brosmer going in there. Like, I kind of said to myself, well, it can't be that much worse than McCarthy. Oh, no, it was. It 100% was. Watch us win out and win the Super Bowl as a 9-8 Cinderella team. My delusion is kicking in. Yeah, I mean, your delusion's kicking in 100%. Could you imagine that, though? That would be the most Vikings. Listen, the most Vikings end to the season would be them going 9-8 and then losing first round of the playoffs. Like the whole fan base is fired back up. Like JJ looks amazing. Then they get to like wild card weekend. And it's like, how the hell are we here? We were talking about firing Kevin O'Connell. Now we're in the playoffs, and then they get beat like 55-3. I think that would be the most Vikings finish to the season. There's no doubt. It cannot get worse than Brosmer. Don't say that. Don't say that. Yeah, each QB is like, hold my beer. Yeah, JJ steps in there. Terrible. Brosmer's like, dude, watch this. I'm about to go have 5 turnovers, throw for 130 yards. It's incredible. Stop with the BS scenarios to cheer us up. All right, my bad. My guy Cole was trying to get some positivity out there. We can't physically score less than 0 points. That is true, Lego. Like we can't get worse offensively than what we put on display against the Seahawks. Pat, I love your enthusiasm, but that is not going to happen, and Jefferson ain't going nowhere. They ain't trading him, and I think he's going to ride through this like a soldier. I think you guys are undervaluing kind of Jefferson's competitive nature here. Like, he is also, since the day he was drafted, he has been a huge, I just want to win. I just want to win. I just want to win. And even in like a couple games, like, do you guys remember last year in Chicago when Jefferson had 3 catches for like 27 yards or something like that? And it was one of his lowest totals of his career. But Addison went for 150. Remember, T.J. Hawkinson went for 120. And Jefferson after the game was like, dude, I don't give a shit. We won the game. Now, obviously, that's the right media thing to say. But man, yeah, I don't know. I just think Jefferson is a competitive SOB, and people need to maybe realize that a Jefferson trade is a little more likely than we think. And like, I hate saying that, but guys, it's NFL. Yeah, send him to the AFC if you do trade him. But Fernando Mendoza, get ready to speak Minnesota. And you're going to have to trade up for him. So, probably not going to happen. Yeah, Jefferson's no, he's very well spoken to the media. He's clearly he's been trained. Man, the Patriots should have accepted the 3 first-round picks. I know. Because, like, listen, Drake May, and again, I know I've been saying fire Kevin O'Connell, but like, Drake May would be a perfect fit in Kevin O'Connell's offense. Like, a big arm, can attack the middle of the field really well. Like, he is that prototypical quarterback that I think Kevin O'Connell would thrive with. But when you have a guy like JJ, where, let's get the ball out on time, you like a lot of play action with them, move the pocket, like a lot of quick game stuff, and then you take your chances late in the game and you're up in the game. Like, that's more of JJ's archetype compared to like Drake May, where it's like, nah, Drake May, he wants to drop back, throw that thing 40 times a game, where JJ is more comfortable in that 20 to 25 range. That's what's concerning. Like, listen, the most concerning part, and I've probably said that 1,000 times today, but one of the most concerning parts here is I think the disconnect of Kevin O'Connell in the quarterback position. Because Kevin O'Connell, he is like so, the right word for this is just like stingy or stubborn, I think, to change his ways offensively to cater to your quarterback. And it's like, if you're not going to cater to the young quarterback, why should KOC be the coach next year? Now, unless you're saying to the fans, like, hey, we're going to go bring in Mac Jones. We're going to go bring in another guy just to kind of steady the ship here a little bit. And, guys, I promise you, if the Vikings trade for Mac Jones, it would be the worst decision this franchise could possibly make this offseason. It is nothing against Mac Jones. I think if you bring in Mac Jones, it would raise the floor of this team times 1,000. But you would just keep yourself in purgatory. And I think the Mac Jones trade, you know what that's going to be? That's going to be the Kevin O'Connell, I'm trying to save my job trade. Where it's like, hey, I know we're not going to win the Super Bowl, but also I can win 9-10 games with Mac Jones. So they just ride out with McCarthy. If KOC can't figure it out with him, he's gone, Kwesi's gone, McCarthy's gone. That's it. Who do you think we'll get? Caleb Downs or Jeremiah Love or a QB? I would hope Caleb Downs out of all 3 of those options. But we will be diving into a mailbag. If you guys got a question, hashtag Vikings or just super chat to get up on the show. It would be greatly appreciated. Shout out to you guys. Marcus Mariota, according to Chris Collinsworth, would be a good bridge QB for the 26th season. Like, if you're going to bring in a guy like Mariota, just ride out with JJ. If you suck, you suck. You'll get a top 5 pick. Like, I think the Vikings are in that spot right now, and I'm always like anti-tank for most teams. I've never been a team tank for the Vikings, but the Vikings are in the spot where it's like, guys, they might just need the season where they go 2-15. But they have never been that team. We have never been that bad ever. But like, maybe we just need that to go get that franchise quarterback, or at least just take a gamble on a franchise quarterback. Like, listen, you guys know I cover the Jets here. Like, I don't think the Jets should be team tank right now. I think they're trying to establish a culture. But whether the Vikings are at, like, if next season you run it back, I think they might have to be team tank. Bring in Rodgers for 1 year. It's going to be the same thing. You'll probably win 9-10 games, and then you'll lose in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, it's not a tank. You're seeing J.J. McCarthy through. Yeah, 100%. Tommy Wood, great question. There is. We'll include this on the mailbag. Dan Lanning, the Oregon head coach. I would hire him tomorrow. All right. You guys want to dive into this mailbag? We'll chop it up about the Vikes here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Last second questions, hashtag Vikings. Or if you guys want to guarantee your spot, send a super chat where we're doing this cut. And let's do it. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. The Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I want to get the pulse of the fan base a little bit. Normally, we don't do mailbags early on in the week, but with how chaotic it is in this Vikings organization and just the turmoil this fan base is going through, I felt like a mailbag was very, very appropriate. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. But no pain, no gain coming in with the first question here saying, is there any hope for the Minnesota Vikings? The times are that bad right now. Now, obviously in the NFL, teams can flip on its head one offseason. We've seen that with Chicago Bears this year. There's always a surprise breakout team like the Patriots were drafting top 4 last year. Now the potential 1 seed in the AFC. So obviously you can flip on its head. In terms of hope, though, if there is any light at the end of this tunnel for the Vikings in this Kevin O'Connell era, it's probably that big. Like, it is super, super small because they are strapped against the cap next year. Your head coach has regressed as a play caller. I think the NFL has figured him out. Your GM sucks. Like, really does suck. Like, he sucks so bad. Drafting, trading, free agency, he's terrible. And you got the worst quarterback room in the NFL right now. So it's like, all right, you don't love your head coach, you don't love your quarterback, you hate your GM, and you're strapped against the cap for the next 2 years. Like, is there really any hope? Like, obviously anything can happen, but as of right now, not a whole lot. Vaporous coming in saying, do we need a new OC? I swear we don't even use him. Talking about Wes Phillips. I don't really think an OC is going to make too much of an impact. Now, maybe if you want to go out there and get a guy like Brian Dable, just because he has turned around like a guy like Josh Allen. So if you want to say like, oh, Brian Dable can come in and help a guy like J.J. McCarthy for sure. But I don't think the offensive coordinator, Wes Phillips, like what does Wes Phillips really do? Clearly he's not doing his job well since the Vikings go out there and score 0 points for the first time since 2007. But I don't think a new OC is necessarily necessary. Tommy Wood coming in saying, you've been saying Flores as our next head coach. Is there a college coach you would take? Yeah, I have been saying that the Vikings should move off O'Connell. I just don't think you're ever going to win a big game with them. And go to Brian Flores. But there is one coach I'd want in college. And I'm actually happy you asked this because I think my number one Kevin O'Connell replacement would be Brian Flores. But if there's number 2 for me, it would be Dan Lanning. He's the head coach at Oregon right now. And he kind of reminds me of Dan Campbell a little bit, which I think this Vikings organization needs, where they just need a tough guy to come in there who's going to add some physicality. He's going to love to run the piss out of the football. And he's just got this kind of contagious energy about him where, KOC does have an energy around him, but it's more of it's a finesse. It's like, hey, we're going to outsmart you. We're going to beat you in the X's and O's and all that, where Dan Lanning's like, hey, step in this ring with us. We're going to punch you in the mouth a couple times. And if you punch us, we'll keep on getting up and keep on going over and over again. Like, he really does remind me of Dan Campbell. So Brian Flores would be number 1 for me, but number 2, Dan Lanning, I would be pretty happy about that. Grifferonis, 3734, what's going on? Saying, why do you think we drafted Kobe King if we were just going to drop him? Hey, that's a great question for the GM. I mean, they probably envisioned Kobe King being the Ivan Pace Jr. replacement. But obviously with Eric Wilson playing some really good football this year, which is a huge sneaky positive of the season. I have no idea. I mean, obviously it was a 6th-round pick, so a 6th-round pick, you're just hoping to get like guys that make the roster. But I mean, the fact that he's on the Jets' 53-man roster right now, the Vikings have literally got like, think about this. That 6th-round pick, you pretty much just burn it. It meant nothing. He made no impact to his football team whatsoever. So very concerning. Why did they draft him? I have no clue. Big O saying, what do you think about Dallas Turner recently? Honestly, he's been the only saving grace for this team over the last couple of weeks. Like, obviously other guys have been playing really well, like Jalen Redmond, but he's been playing good all year. But over the last 3 weeks, man, like Dallas Turner showed me something. And he's always been an extremely, extremely athletic player. And it kind of feels like his pass rush moves, like they're all starting to come together a little bit. Like he's kind of got a bag, and he's starting to add more physicality to his pass rushes. He has been awesome, man. I mean, he's got 4 sacks over the last 3 games. He had 2 forced fumbles against the Seahawks. He has been awesome. So I will say, like, everybody was really down on Dallas Turner about a month ago, and he has completely kind of shut that door a little bit. And also, yesterday against the Seahawks, him having 2 sacks, like, Gennard was back, Andrew Van Ginkel was there, and he was still able to find himself making an impact. So, shout to Dallas Turner. Type those 15s in the comments section. Twisted Wizard coming in with the best question of this mailbag. What % of this team drafting problems are on lack of coaching development? I really appreciate Twisted for saying this, and I think more of the fan base kind of needs to get on this kind of wave right here. I've been saying Kwesi is the worst GM in the league. I still fully mean that. The coaching staff hasn't done Kwesi any favors. Because we have seen Ed Ingram this year. He goes to the Houston Texans. He's awesome. That's a coaching problem with the Vikings. I don't really chalk that up to Kwesi because clearly, Kwesi's team and his scouting department got the profile right on Ed Ingram. A mauler, he can get downhill. Vikings just didn't use him right. Or clearly, their coaching there is just not going well, and now he's over there in Houston, which Houston has had notorious bad offensive lines over the last couple of years, but he's popping. Garrett Bradbury, he's the starting center on the number 1 seed in the AFC. Mekhi Blackman, he's on a playoff team. So all 3 of those guys who were pretty much, with us Vikings fans saying they're unplayable, they're on 3 playoff teams in the AFC. Now, do I think obviously Kwesi has had a ton of misses? Absolutely. But when you're talking about the Vikings' poor drafting, I still think 90%, maybe 80% of the misses go on the scouting department and the general manager. But the other 10 to 20%, it's got to go on coaching. Because we've seen other young players, too, go to other teams and be really, really damn successful. Twisted, I think this is a great comment because I think people are just like, oh, if we fire Kwesi, it's all going to change. Is it? Because your coaching staff also, I'm starting to believe, at least on the offensive side of the field, is pretty poor. But Twisted, I appreciate you. Reed Southern, what's going on, man? I feel bad for this team. I thought that we would go 12-5 this season, but I was completely wrong. But do you think we will draft a quarterback in this draft? I absolutely do not. I actually already know what the Vikings are going to do this offseason. And it's gonna piss me off. The Vikings this offseason will trade for Mac Jones, or they're bringing some type of veteran quarterback in the Mac Jones category. And what's going to happen is they're going to win 10 games next year. And then they're going to get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. And that's it. Then we'll just be stuck in purgatory. Then we'll have the 18th pick in the draft, and we'll be sitting to ourselves saying, all right, well, is Mac Jones the answer? Should we go get a franchise quarterback? Should we trade up for a guy? And we'll just be kind of in that no man's land. I think what the Vikings should do is you ride this thing out with J.J. McCarthy. You play him every single game, all of next season. I don't care if he looks like the worst quarterback alive, which he has. If he looks like how he's been this whole year, I don't care. Ride it out. Because if you ride it out and he's that bad, you're not going to win many games. You're going to probably be a 3-win team. Then you're going to be drafting high in 2027. And also, if you do ride it out with McCarthy, that forces the hand of Kevin O'Connell, where it says, hey, KOC, I know you haven't changed your offense at all, but if you don't change your offense for J.J. McCarthy, you will be fired. So it kind of puts some pressure back on KOC. But if you just let KOC, and also another reason why I think they're going to go get Mac Jones, because they're trying to save their jobs. Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi, they can't have a 3-win season because they will lose their jobs. So what are they going to do? They're just going to give the Vikings fans a little hope. Hey, here's Mac Jones. We'll go to the playoffs. We'll be one and done, but you guys will be happy in the months of September, October, November, but you'll still be stuck in purgatory. Yeah, I'm with you, Reed. Just awful stuff. But let me get you guys' hot takes down below, because I think this is a very polarizing time in the fan base. It's even though it sucks, it's a very important time in this Vikings kind of history and this tenure that we're in right now. So you guys let me know, what is your hottest take on the Vikings? Get creative for me, whatever it may be. I cannot wait to go see the comment section on today's show. But give me your hottest take on the Vikings down below. I will dive into more questions from you guys here in a second, but I'll give a massive shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Factor Meals. Now, eat smart at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off and use code VikingsChat50off to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. Now, the fall season always feels like a reset. Between back to school, busier routines, and shorter days, finding time to cook can be tough. That's why I love Factor. The chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. And I love Factor because they got more variety and more meals. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp, at no extra cost. You guys can also support your wellness goals, enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly meals, and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good-for-you fats. So eat smart at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off and use promo code VikingsChat50off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code VikingsChat50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. This offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Link for this will be in the comment section and description of today's show. Blake coming in, what's going on? Should the Vikings draft Jeremiah Love because he's probably the top prospect and because the play caller will be forced to run the damn ball? I mean, if you guaranteed me that, Blake, if you looked me in the eyes and said, if you draft Jeremiah Love, Kevin O'Connell will shift to a run-first offense, I would take Jeremiah Love #1 overall. I am so serious. If you promise me, and I would even – we could take a running back who's projected to go in the 7th round, #1 overall. If you said, hey, if we take that running back, KOC would be a run-first offense, I'm in. Now, the thing is, if you take Jeremiah Love and KOC doesn't shift that direction, then what the hell are we doing? That would be a waste of a draft pick. Kind of like very similar to like the Josh Oliver extension. Okay, you just gave Josh Oliver 3 for 24, but you're not going to run the ball, so why are you paying a blocking tight end $24 million over 3 years? Doesn't make any sense. But Blake, I'd be all in on Love. I think he's a hell of a player. Macaroni Joe coming with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Brody. Skull to the toilet bowl. Why can't KOC get out of his own way? Our roster is too talented. I think KOC's just got a little bit of an ego on him. I think he thinks like, hey, his offense is, that those deep in-breaking routes, like the high-level throws he asks his quarterback to make. Just the inability to have easy dump-offs, quick game concepts, slants, running the football, like that stuff. Like, he just refuses to do it. And, like, that's why, like, throwing Brosmer out there was a joke. I felt bad for Brosmer. He clearly wasn't ready, and he wasn't ready to run that type of offense. Like, if you put Brosmer with Ben Johnson and that run-first scheme they got over there in Chicago, obviously, he would struggle a little bit, but he wouldn't have 4 picks. He wouldn't have had the game he had because still KOC was throwing the ball 30-plus times, yet again with the UDFA quarterback making their first career start on the road in Seattle. Like, why didn't KOC just play ball control that game? Like, why didn't he just say, like, hey, we're going to lean on our defense. We're going to try to win this game 13-10. KOC would hate to win a game 13-10. He wants to win every game 31-28. That's just who he is. Why can't he get out of his own way? I think it's between the ears. I think it's the ego. In terms of our roster being too talented, I kind of disagree with that. I think the Vikings roster is a little bit overrated. I mean, a lot of guys have taken steps back this current year. Mike Nintendo, what's going on, Nintendo? What team will the Vikings trade Jefferson to? Hopefully no teams, Mike. But if I had to call my shot, if I'm getting bold here and if I'm trying to think like the NFL wants to completely flip this league on its head, the Chiefs. Like that, or the Patriots. Chiefs or the Patriots, and if you go to the Chiefs, it'll be the next Brady Moss. Hopefully the Vikings don't trade him in the NFC. That would be fantastic. But if I had to call my shot here, Mike, I would go. I'll go Kansas City. Lego fellow coming in. If Jefferson leaves, do we keep Addison? I mean, yeah, you probably have to. I just don't know what Addison's going to get. Like, obviously he's had the off the field stuff. He's had drop issues this year. He's taken a step back as a player. Haven't really seen that year-to-year growth that you're hoping for a guy entering year 4. You probably have to keep him, and maybe you sign him to like a $20 million per year contract, like 4 for $80. Maybe give him like the Cortland Sutton deal around those numbers. But yeah, I mean, if Jefferson leaves, like you got to keep Jordan Addison. M. Googs, what's going on? Long time no see. Supporting this channel, got you, Seeps. Appreciate you. Got to ask, why is JJ not getting fed enough? Talking about Justin Jefferson, I got no good answer for you. I think, one, like the quarterback play has been so poor. And also, two, like KOC, like the routes he's got Jefferson running, it's like deep ins, deep crossers. It's like all explosives in the passing game. Like, the thing that's driving me crazy, like, why not just give Jefferson a slant route? Just give him a quick out. 5-yard out. Use that as kind of a manufactured run game. Mike G, that's awesome. What's going on, Mike G? Yeah, I don't really have a good answer for you there. It's incredibly disappointing why Jefferson's not getting fed enough. I mean, the fact that he is going to lose his best wide receiver in the world title because of Kevin O'Connell and the bad quarterback play is incredibly frustrating. I still think he's the best in the league. Now, yes, has he individually taken a slight step back this year? Yes, but Jefferson taking a slight step back is still the best receiver in the league. And we got people. Listen, I think George Pickens and Jackson Smith and Jamar Chase, they're hell of wide receivers. They can't sniff what Jefferson is. He's an all-time great talent, and it's just, yeah, it's concerning that KOC just can't get him the ball, no matter who the quarterback is. You got to be able to get your playmakers the football. It's historic, but we have been due for a run of poor seasons. I'm 44, seen it all. It's our time to be among the worst in the NFL for a few years, perhaps. Many to blame. Thoughts? Thoughts. I love it. Yeah, it is like the Vikings' time because they have never been a bad franchise. They have the 4th highest winning percentage in NFL history. 0 Super Bowls. So with the Wilfs, I mean, they've been the owners for, 21, 22 years now. They've been just living in purgatory. Like, that's why I think this upcoming year, you ride it out with J.J. McCarthy. You do not go get Mac Jones. Please do not get Mac Jones. Because, yes, Mac Jones will raise the floor of the team next year. You'll win 10 games. Why don't you put your nuts on the table and either go all in on McCarthy, and if you're bad, you draft a quarterback. Instead, they'll just pander to the fans. They'll say, oh, look, we got a competent quarterback. We're going to go win 10 games, yada, 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 yada. It's concerning. It's concerning. But I'm with you. I mean, yeah, maybe they are due for a run of just some bad seasons, and it'll eventually you end up paying off. Like, you think about the Lions, like, they got Gibbs high up in the draft, Penei Sewell high up in the draft. Like, even the Bengals, like, when they were making Super Bowls, like, drafted Jamar Chase top 5, drafted Burrow number 1 overall. Like, sometimes you just got to be bad, take a huge step forward. We'll see what happens. But appreciate all of you guys for tuning in today. If you guys made it to the end, shoot me a skull down below. As always, Skull Vikes. KOC should be an NFL lawyer. Dude can split any narrative. That's good stuff. Oh, yeah, no problem. All right, guys, we're going to get on out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Great live show. Audience was fantastic. We're going to get on out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll be back live on Thursday. And we got a whole lot to talk about this week. So make sure you guys are subscribed, tune in then. And as always, Skull Vikes.